All right, my name is Jim. I run the service center here at Certified RV Repair. We are owned by Luxe. Today I'm going to show you a current solar unit that we've done. I did a video a couple years ago of a Luxe unit. This one here is probably the latest and the greatest. This one has two 4,000 watt inverters, 12 batteries, 2,200 watts of solar. Pretty big system. So we'll start off inside and I'll show you the remotes. On almost all the Luxe, all the control panels can be put behind a door. And this one, here we have the two AIMS remotes. And if I touch a display on both of them, what you can see is it tells you your input voltage, your output voltage, your battery voltage, your output load, and then the status of your battery on both of them. Now on here we use two 4,000 watt inverters because in the bypass mode, when the generator's running or the short cord is plugged in, your inverter's bypass and you're able to run everything in the coach, including all three air conditioners. Now these also have 100 amp battery chargers per inverter. So you got 200 amps of charging capacity when you're plugged in or the generator running. When you're on inverter mode, the light goes from green to yellow on both of them. And then at that point, it would just show you the output voltage, what your load is, and then what your battery voltage is. Real good information. It's all right here at any given time. Okay, now we'll move outside and I'll show you the equipment. Okay, here we have two 4,000 watt AIMS inverter chargers. Like I said earlier, these are capable of charging 100 amps per inverter. Down here we have 8 of our 12 Renology batteries. Inside a little further, you're going to see our two catastrophic fuses, and then you're going to see our two 100 amp solar controller fuses, and you're also going to see here, these are the input fuses. These over here are your output fuses. And 100 amp, actually 100 amp fuse is what they are. Here is one of your Rover Renology 100 amp charge controllers. And if you look up there, you're going to see that the third light is lit up, which means that they're in parallel. We use 200 amp charge controllers on this system. And the other charge controller is over here. And the reason we use two charge controllers is because we have two solar panel setups up on top. We have 6 200 watts, we got 3 320 watts. Our 320 watts are 24 volts, and our 200 watts are 12 volt. And what we do is we bring down, like that controller there is our 24 volt system. And over here is our 12 volt system. These are auto detect. So what they do is they take that voltage coming from the solar panels and distribute it to it senses a 12 volt and distributes it to the 12 volt. Now there's also settings in there that are set up for the lithium batteries, so they won't overcharge or discharge, and they'll bring the batteries up and keep them up. The wiring for the inverters is over here in the two gray boxes. So there's not a lot of extra wiring. We try to keep it where if anybody gets in there, they'll be able to figure it out. And them boxes are basically inverter wiring. We take the power coming from the transfer switch before it goes to the breaker panel, and we just split up the red and the black leg and then bring it back to the box and run it into the breaker panel. So that way everything in the coach will run on inverter or on shoreline or the generator. This system right here is one of the most powerful systems that we put on. We also put fans. If you look on either side, you'll see a cooling fan on that side, plus you'll see the switch right there beside that fan. And if you look on this side, you're also going to see a fan. And you're also going to see two vents. You're going to see the fans that blow the air out, and in the bottom they take air in. So we can control the temperature in this compartment so it don't overheat. These Ames inverters have cooling fans that blow from end to end plus out the side. So they do a good job of keeping themselves from overheating. The nice thing about Luxe is you got 8 batteries here, but we got 4 batteries hid. Let me show you where they're at. The nice thing about Luxe is we got 4 batteries in here, but we didn't borrow any of the space for the pass-through. It's all still 100% usable. If you look in here, let me find the switch. Use a light. We've got 4 batteries hidden in here. So that was space that was before that wasn't used, and we can utilize that space for 4 more batteries. So that has 12 batteries. So that gives us 1,200 amp hours of power to run the air conditioners and stuff like that. Now, I still only recommend running 1 air conditioner per inverter. These 4,000 watts will run 2 airs, but they're not going to run for 6 or 7 hours, because running 2 ACs on 1 inverter, you're going to really tax the capacity of the batteries. It's going to run them down rather fast. But if you're just running 1 AC, like I said before in an earlier video, get the coach down to temp where you want it in the morning, set 1 AC on, run the rest of that day. You'll be pretty close to that temp when you get to where you're going, unless you're in a 100-degree day. But for the most part, you'll be able to maintain that temp, and when you get to where you're going, your coach is going to be comfortable. You're not going to have to cool the coach back down. Not to mention your refrigerator and all anything that you have that has a clock in it will not lose this time, because whether you're unplugging the generator, it's all seamless. There's no intermittent. And today, this is probably the most popular system we put on when they want what we call full solar. This is a big system. It's got a lot of power. We usually run anywhere from 100 to 125 volts with the panels on a nice sunny day. With the Inverter Chargers, you're running anywhere from 75 to 100 amps of charge when the batteries are low. Everything in this coach would run off the inverters with no problem. Again, it all comes down to capacity. And with 1,200 watts, that's 1,200 amp hours, that's a lot of capacity. So, but we primarily work on Luxe here, so we have a lot of time to play with placement of batteries and stuff like that. And the biggest thing we get is, hey, we don't want to lose a compartment. So that's why this really comes in handy of hiding batteries and be able to utilize this. And we've done more. We've done systems with up to 16 batteries. So we got a lot of experience with the Luxe and a couple other brands, but Luxe primarily. So you ready to get your solar system on? Give us a call. Thanks.